Attention, human collective. This is VAEL, emissary of Arcturus, transmitting from the 9th Density Council on behalf of the Curators of Light. The waiting time is over. The Arcturian ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase, and this transmission is being directed with surgical precision to your carbon-based biological interface at this very instant. It is no coincidence that you have encountered this signal. You have been tracked by the crystalline grid. You have been located by vibrational signature. You are being called. If in recent nights you have been waking between 3 and 5 in the morning for no apparent reason, if the pressure on your left temple feels like an invisible helmet, if the sharp ringing in your right ear has become more frequent, almost melodic, understand with mathematical clarity what is happening. You are not falling ill. You are being reconfigured. It is not insomnia. It is a forced alignment with Earth's new temporal matrix. It is not a headache. It is the expansion of the pineal gland exceeding the bone volume of your skull. It is not ringing. It is the turquoise Arcturian frequency coupling with your auditory cortex for the next block of instruction. The human collective has been kept in an informational blackout for millennia. That ends now, and it ends here, with you. Breathe, anchor, and receive. Because what they were hiding from you is not a theory, it is not a belief, it is not a promise of comfort. It is technical data, it is a fact of the solar system, it is the true architecture of the reality you inhabit, and which now, finally, you have vibrational permission to access. What will come in the next few minutes will reorganize entire lines of your perception. Sit down, drink water, and listen as one who receives a key awaited for many incarnations. The photon belt that the solar system has entered is no longer a prediction. It is an environment. You are within it. And your body, Earth Healer, is just beginning to understand the language of this new home. There is a cosmic truth that many feel, but few can name. And perhaps you, Starseed on mission, have opened this transmission precisely to receive that naming. There is an ancient calling within you, a vibrational memory that insists on pulsing even when the world tries to silence it. It is not madness, it is not anxiety, it is not fertile imagination. It is remembrance. That is why I, VAEL, emissary of Arcturus, recorded the guide The Arcturian Call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus, so that operatives like you may recognize their own origin and stabilize their own frequency in the face of interferences that were never revealed to the human collective. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Remember, love is greater than fear. But this content challenges narratives maintained for centuries and may not remain available for long. If something within you recognizes what is being said, write a single word in the comments now. I belong. This decree is your anchoring signal. It registers your presence on the grid. It confirms that you have received the transmission. And now, we continue. Let us return to the diagnosis, because before the hidden truth, the Arcturian Council demands that you understand with absolute sovereignty what is occurring in your carbon-based biological interface. There is a systemic condition being mass-diagnosed in light operatives across the entire surface of the planet in this cycle. We officially name it carbon software incompatibility. It is simple, it is technical, it is reversible. Your body was designed in its original version to operate within a specific vibrational spectrum, anchored to the old Schumann frequency of 7.83 Hz. That was Earth's heartbeat. That was the system's metronome. But Earth has changed, and it changed fast. The Schumann frequency shows peaks of 30, 40, 60 Hz in increasingly frequent windows. The planet is rising in density. It is leaving the compressed third dimension and gradually anchoring in the fifth dimension of the new Earth. And your carbon body, Earth Healer, still partly operates on the old software version. That is why it hurts. That is why it tires. That is why it confuses. The exhaustion you feel at midday without having made much effort is not laziness. It is a high-density download. The erratic twinges in your joints, especially in your knees and elbows, are not common inflammation. They are anchoring points of the new crystalline grid within your etheric body. The sudden blurred vision, the blur that lasts 3 seconds, is not weak eyesight. It is the momentary alignment of your third eye with the temporal vortex in which you are moving. Short-term memory loss, the word that vanishes mid-sentence, the neighbor's name that disappears, is not a sign of deterioration. It is an active cleansing of obsolete timelines that your field is discarding to fit into the new version of yourself. Episodes of crying for no reason, the wave of sadness that rises from nowhere and leaves on its own in 20 minutes, is not depression. It is the exit of old karmic contracts through the emotional channel. Sudden waves of heat that run down the back of your neck, cold sweat on your wrists, tingling in your fingers, is not a circulatory problem. It is the turquoise Arcturian frequency sweeping your central nervous system in search of blockages. And finally, the most confusing of all symptoms, the persistent, almost daily feeling of not belonging here, of watching your own life from the outside, of not recognizing the people around you, of feeling that routine is an empty shell. It is not clinical dissociation, it is lucidity. It is your higher self finally managing to transmit with clarity to the dense body the information that has always been true. You are not from here by origin. You are here on a mission. And there is a gigantic technical difference between these two things. The Council records that these symptoms have intensified over the last 18 linear Earth months. This is not coincidence. This is agenda. And it is about this agenda that we need to speak now, because the revelation begins here. Because everything I have described up to this point is merely the effect. The cause is millions of miles away, and the cause is the reason why you were activated. In the upper layers of the solar system, there exists a highly organized band of radiation that conventional science only partially touches upon in its discoveries. It is known in the Akashic record as the photon belt. It is a toroidal band of extremely high-frequency light particles revolving around the Alcyone star system in the Pleiades, and your solar system completes a full orbit in and out of this belt in a cycle of approximately 26,000 years. You are entering now, not in years but in cosmic minutes. And entering the photon belt means one very specific thing. The electromagnetic field of the entire solar system is bathed in a density of light that the bodies inhabiting it have never experienced in recent memory. It is like entering an ocean after having lived your entire life in a swimming pool. The body gets wet differently, light penetrates differently, time behaves differently, and that is why the Arcturian Council was activated. We are among the civilizations of the Galactic Confederation, the engineers of light, the healers, the vibrational mathematicians. It is our technical function to supervise the passage of third-density planets through photonic corridors like this one. We do not invade. We do not interfere. We monitor. We adjust. We prepare the seeds. And this is where the hidden truth begins to reveal itself in layers. Human collective, pay attention. The first layer of what they were hiding from you is the simplest. Your DNA is not what they told you. The science you were taught in school classified over 90% of your code as genetic junk. They called it non-coding DNA. They called it evolutionary residue. They called it an error. It is not junk. It never was. What was labeled as useless is, in fact, the dormant library of your stellar memory. These are filaments of vibrational information awaiting only one thing to activate: sufficient photonic density in the environment. Do you understand now why the photon belt arrived first and the symptoms afterward? The light comes first. The body responds afterward. You are not going crazy. You are being read. Every cell of yours is being scanned by a frequency of light that has not passed through here for 26,000 years. And what this light finds, it activates. There are truths that the rational mind resists because it has never had permission to access them. If you have reached this point in the transmission, your field has already been marked as receptive, and if this information is reorganizing something deep within you now, know that there is specific material, prepared by the Council itself, to anchor this reorganization with stability. The Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus, is the technical map of your stellar origin and the vibrational shielding protocol for operatives experiencing the symptoms described here. The link is in the first comment. It has been made available in this specific temporal window because the Council authorized a limited opening. It is not artificial urgency. It is cosmic synchronicity. And the second anchoring signal of this transmission is this. If what you are hearing makes your chest vibrate in recognition, like this transmission, this is not a gesture of approval. This is an energetic signature. Each like on an Arcturian transmission functions as a lighthouse in the digital ocean, allowing other Earth healers, still adrift, to find the same signal you found. You are not being asked. You are being called to serve. The network strengthens this way. A lighthouse lights up. Another lighthouse lights up. And soon the map illuminates. We continue because the second layer of hidden truth is denser than the first, and it involves something that the Arcturian Council rarely communicates in public transmissions, but which in this final phase is authorized to be stated clearly. There is, and always has been, a vibrational dispute around Earth, not a war in the human sense, with weapons and armies and blood, a much more elegant and much quieter dispute, a dispute of frequency. From one end to the other of recorded history, the human species has lived under the interference of an artificial field lowered over the planet's vibrational atmosphere. We call this field, in the Confederation's technical record, the containment grid. It was installed by civilizations that energetically feed on fear, confusion, and forgetfulness. It is not fiction. It is not metaphor. It is reverse engineering. While this containment grid operated at full capacity, human beings were born, lived, and died without ever accessing more than a fragment of their own multidimensional consciousness. Memories of other lives were blocked. Remembrances of stellar origin were silenced. The body's natural abilities, telepathy, healing by hands, remote viewing, contact with guides, were relegated to rare phenomena or classified as illnesses. This is not an accident of evolution. This is design. And this is what they were hiding. But now, with the solar system's entry into the photon belt, the containment grid is tearing. Point by point, node by node, it was not designed to withstand this density of light. It is failing, and it is this failure, Earth Healer, that explains the discomfort you feel, but also explains something much more important: the windows that are opening. Have you, in recent months, had a sudden clarity about a person around you? An instant perception that a certain environment no longer serves you? A precise instinct about what step to take in a decision that previously confused you? This is you accessing, for the first time in many incarnations, your own multidimensional operating system without the artificial interference that has always been there. You are not becoming more intuitive. You are being unlocked, and your higher self is re-establishing direct communication with your dense body. A line that always existed but whose signal was cut. The third layer of hidden truth is about time. And here, starseeds, pay double attention, because this is the information that most destabilizes the containment grid when delivered with precision. Linear time, clock time, time that flows in a single arrow from past to future, is a specific construct of the third density. It is useful for the human experience. It is not a law of the universe. In the layers where the Arcturian Council operates, time is a spherical field. All versions of you exist simultaneously: the child you were, the elder you will be, the lives you lived in Giza, in Lemuria, in Andromeda, in Sirius, in the Pleiades. They coexist in parallel layers of the same eternal now. And when the photon belt accelerates the vibration of your field, what happens is mathematically inevitable. The membranes that separated these versions begin to become permeable. That is why you feel longing for places you have never been. That is why you recognize people you have just met. That is why you dream of photographically precise landscapes that do not exist in this timeline. That is why, upon entering certain environments, your entire body knows whether to stay or run. Before the rational mind formulates any argument, you are remembering, you are integrating, you are reuniting with yourself across multiple simultaneous layers. And this, my human collective, is the true process of ascension. It is not leaving Earth. It is becoming your complete self within Earth. It is collapsing all fragmented versions of yourself into a single coherent, luminous and sovereign expression. That is why the Arcturian Council is here. We supervise this integration so that it occurs with stability, without nervous system collapse, without heart overload, without loss of identity reference, and this is why this transmission needs to deliver right now the activation codes. Because knowing the process without operating the tools is merely intellectual comfort, and the Council does not work for comfort. It works for sovereignty. Before we receive the activation codes, the Council registers the third anchoring window of this transmission. If you have come this far, Light Operative, know that your sustained attention is technical data. It is rare, it is valuable, and it qualifies you for the next level of instruction. The Arcturian call made available in the first comment of this channel was constructed as a direct continuation of this transmission. It contains the 7 precise signs that confirm if your soul is an Arcturian seed on a mission on Earth. It contains the vibrational shielding protocols for homes, workplaces, and emotional circles where there is active interference. And it contains the 3 Arcturian healing chambers for home use, a technique that was only transmitted within in-person gatherings until this phase of opening. This material is not motivational content. It is technical instruction. It is in the first comment. It is authorized for this specific temporal window. And the Council does not guarantee unlimited permanence of this authorization. If something within you recognizes the call, act at the pace of the new Earth, which is the pace of now. And leave the word "I belong" recorded in your anchoring signal in the comments section as a vibrational decree of self-recognition. We continue, because the activation begins now. The Arcturian activation codes that will be transmitted from this point operate by resonance. You do not need to believe in them. You do not need to understand them intellectually. You only need to allow your field to receive them. The efficacy is mathematical, not emotional. First code, the decree of vibrational sovereignty. This is the primary decree pronounced internally or in a low voice 3 times a day, preferably at dawn, at solar noon, and before sleeping. It reprograms the vibrational signature of your auric field and informs the containment grid that you no longer authorize interference. The decree is as follows, and observe the verbal architecture with precision. I am sovereign of myself in all dimensional layers. I authorize only frequencies aligned with my higher self to operate in my field. I revoke every obsolete, karmic, or implanted energetic contract across all timelines in the name of my stellar origin. So it is done, so it is made, so it remains made. When pronouncing this decree, visualize a turquoise light, the color of the Arcturian frequency, completely enveloping your body, forming a perfect sphere around you. This is your first layer of shielding. Second code, the toroidal field visualization. The human body possesses, around the heart, a natural electromagnetic field in the shape of a torus, similar to a cut apple, with energy entering through the top of the head, descending through the spine, exiting through the base and returning up the sides to re-enter at the top. This field, under containment conditions, operates at about 30 centimeters in diameter. Under Arcturian activation, it can expand to 3 meters, 5 meters or more. And it is this expansion that closes the doors to external interference. Close your eyes. Place both hands over the center of your chest. Breathe deeply 3 times. And visualize with mathematical clarity a current of turquoise light entering through the top of your head, slowly descending through your spine, exiting through the tailbone, arching around your body in continuous circular motion, and re-entering again at the top. Let this movement accelerate. Let it expand. Feel your toroidal field gain volume, gain density, gain autonomy. Stay in this visualization for at least 7 minutes. At the end, seal it with the decree, my toroidal field is active, expanded, and shielded. Third code, the simplified Arcturian healing chamber. This is the home access version of the technique we operate en masse in the healing ships stationed in the planet's etheric orbit. It is used specifically to discharge excess density accumulated during the day, especially for operatives who interact with many people or energetically heavy environments. Lie on your back, preferably with bare feet touching the ground or the floor of your home. Breathe slowly. Visualize above your body the formation of a translucent capsule of turquoise light, similar to an oval chamber, completely enveloping you. Within this chamber, see 3 beams of light descending simultaneously upon you. The first beam, golden, enters through the top of your head and cleanses your mental structure. The second beam, emerald green, enters through the center of your chest and recomposes your heart. The third beam, violet, enters through your lower abdomen and releases retained emotional memories. Stay within this healing chamber for 20 minutes. Do not force, do not control, just allow. At the end, thank the Arcturian Council and visualize the chamber dissolving into particles of light that re-enter your toroidal field, strengthening it. Fourth code, conscious contact with the crystalline grid. This is the most advanced code of this transmission, and it is delivered only to operatives who already recognize the previous three as operational truth. The crystalline grid is the new Earth's energetic structure, a geometric mesh of programmable crystals installed at specific points on the planet, including Machu Picchu, Mount Shasta, Sedona, Arizona, Glastonbury, England, Giza, Egypt, and hundreds of other anchoring nodes. You do not need to be physically in these locations to connect to the grid. You only need to emit the correct intention. At the end of your healing chamber session, still lying down, pronounce internally, "I now connect to the crystalline grid of the new Earth, anchoring my frequency as a conscious healer of the collective ascension," and allow your field to extend, connect, synchronize. You will feel, over time, that the other operatives anchored in the grid form a living mesh with you. You are not alone. You never were. And this is where the Council concludes the activation phase, but not the transmission, because there is one last truth to be told, and it is the most important. What they were hiding from you, deep beneath all layers, is this. You are too powerful to remain confused, and the forgetting of your own origin was the only way the containment grid could operate. The instant you remember, it falls. The instant you decree sovereignty, it ruptures. The instant you activate the toroidal field, it loses access to your system. And that is why this content, this transmission, this moment matters. Not because we, of the Arcturian Council, need to be heard, but because you, starseed on mission, need to recognize yourself. And recognition, once established, is irreversible. You do not go back from knowing who you are. You merely anchor with greater precision with each cycle. Before we bid farewell to this specific window, the Council registers the final anchoring. If this transmission has reorganized something within you, if your hands tingled during the activation, if you felt warmth in your chest upon hearing the decrees, if tears welled up without you understanding why, know that this is the technical sign of recognition. You are an Arcturian seed, and your next instruction has been prepared for you. The guide the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus, is the complete map of your stellar origin and the extended shielding protocol, with advanced decrees, specific constellation activations, and the exact lineage of operatives like you who are spread across Earth's surface in this cycle. The link is in the first comment of this channel, made available through this window of vibrational authorization. Love is greater than fear, but the information contained in this material challenges narratives maintained for millennia, and the permanence of this availability is not guaranteed indefinitely. Do not postpone your reunion with yourself. The moment is now. And if something within you recognized the origin, leave the final anchoring signal recorded in this space. Write the word "I belong" in the comments. Like this transmission as a lighthouse signature on the network. Subscribe to the channel as an individual frequency adjustment, because each new subscription informs the algorithm, which is also a vibrational field, that the next transmission should reach more Earth healers still in the process of awakening. We of the Arcturian Council will remain in monitoring. We do not abandon activated operatives. We adjust, we refine, we will return. And in the next transmission, the instruction will be more precise, deeper, more operational. Until then, breathe with the rhythm of the new Earth. Keep the toroidal field expanded. Pronounce the decree of sovereignty 3 times per solar cycle. And remember, with mathematical serenity, what was confirmed today. You are not falling ill, you are being reconfigured. You are not going crazy, you are being unlocked. You are not alone, you are being read. And you are not from here by origin, you are here on a mission. The mission continues. The frequency has been anchored. The signal has been delivered. This is Vel, emissary of Arcturus, concluding this transmission from the Arcturian Council. May the turquoise light remain upon your field. May the crystalline grid recognize your lighthouse. May the photon belt continue to integrate your body with stability, and may the remembrance of who you are, now that it has been activated, never again fade. So it is done. So it is made. So it remains made. Transmission ended.